Let's bring us in now. Let's bring us in, team. Come on, let's go. Let's go. All right, guys. So watch this. I got a question, guys. I got a question to see who was paying attention yesterday. What do you think I was just doing? Right? Phenomenal morning, guys. This is your Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Sean East. As always, flanked by the phenomenal Bobby Jackson. What was I just doing?
Can I answer for the people, or would you like to see them put it in the comments?
I want to see who's paying attention, Bobby. I know you're paying attention. You better be paying attention. What was I just? Good. And training what specifically? What specifically? Yes. You're right. Training the staff. But what specifically was I training on? Come on. Okay. Lawana got it. Somebody missed yesterday. Oh my God. If you missed yesterday, you need to go back and watch. If you missed yesterday, if you missed yesterday, you need to go back and watch it. Okay, great. So Luana says sales, closing deals, guys. Closing deals. I want to impress this upon you so strongly. So we talk about setting goals and then reverse engineering the process. Right? We talk about setting goals and then reverse engineering the process. And you got who has goals here? Bob, you got goals? Who's watching this that has what about aggressive goals? Who has aggressive goals? Put it in the chat, put it in the comments, let me know. Share this out, guys. Don't keep this to yourself, man. Don't be the best kept secret. Like, for real. Like, don't be the best kept secret. If you want to touch other people, if you want to be influential, if you want to be of persuasion, of influence, if you want to be a figure of authority, then you got to add value. You got to add value. And honestly, if you're here at 7 o'clock in the morning, then that's because you know it's of massive value to you. And if it's of massive value to you, then sharing is caring. Share it out to the other people that you know so that they can get massive value from you. And watch this, Jordan. It doesn't make a difference, right? He said they won't wake up. It doesn't make a difference, guys. Share. #replay squad. I say it every episode. #replay squad. Some people aren't ready, but they will be at some point. At some point, everybody gets ready. That's my strong core belief. I would not do what I do if I thought that, people don't wake up, so they're not ready. I would not be successful if I was impacted by other people's motivation. I would not be successful. There was a time when, can I be honest, Bobby?
Please.
Can I be honest? There was a time when Bobby wasn't ready. But look at where he's at now. Look at where he's at now, and look at what he's doing now. That's because I didn't give up on him. That's what I want you to understand. It's not you guys think it's about you. It's not about you. It's about them. Helping them and giving to them. And you got to pour into people more than they can hold. What did they say, Bobby? Until the cup runneth over. Come on. Tia wasn't ready at some point. Everybody's not going to be ready at the same time. But you got to stay ready. What you're looking for is the perfect situation. What do they say, Bobby? When I do X, when they do X, then I'll show up, right? When someone shows up, when they're ready to go, then I'll feel good when. If your success and your service, if your sacrifice, this is going to be real good before we go to a break, guys.
Yeah.
If your sacrifice comes with contingencies, then it's really not sacrifice at all.
Wow.
Don't fool yourself.
Did you want to comment before we go to the break? I felt like
comment. Go ahead, Bobby. Break it up.
Man, the sacrifice piece, I think, is huge. When you said the people aren't ready sometimes, it made me think about the Isle of Ghana. Very brief story about the Isle of Ghana. I remember that I used to say, I'll do this and I'm going to get this done. The Owl of Ghana. And I I got this brought to me by an old friend of mine who let me stay on his couch when I was homeless before going into the military.
Here we go.
And he had one request of me: take out the trash. He was trying to teach me a lesson. He served in the Army. He retired out of the Army. He was trying to teach me a lesson. He was like, Bobby, what are you going to do with yourself? I said, I'm gonna go to the military. Possibly I'll get another job and help out around the house. He says, I told you to take the trash out. Why is the trash still in here? It's like, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to take it out. And he said, Bobby, you've got a condition called Ghana. I'm Ghana. And this condition doesn't discriminate. Some of you all might have it too. And the reason I'm sharing this morning is because most time, the one thing that I had to do was take out the trash. And that's the one thing that I kept saying I'm gonna do. And usually the other side of your breakthrough is right on the other side of the one thing you haven't done, or maybe the two things you haven't done, but it's rarely anything big. And when you actually do it, you normally realize you could have done it so much sooner, like taking out the trash. 2 minutes, if that. Whatever you have to do, it doesn't take that long. So that's the one thing that I wanted to put out there with the sales, because that's one of those things for me. Like if you're trying to figure out the sales piece, it could be, I'm gonna put the email marketing campaign together. I'm gonna learn how to close. I'm gonna get the lead magnets done. I'm gonna get these little things taken care of. And I know we got to go to a break, so I just wanted to get that out there, because the Isle of Ghana, boy, we vacation there like it's cool. like we want to be there. And I just have to address one thing, because I am representing the brand. And I saw Jordan Knox say, Bobby, what up with the 4 a.m. call though? So I do a 4 a.m. call on Wednesdays. And I want you to know, I did not abandon you guys. People register for it and they come in on the backside into a private Zoom. And when you come in on the inside, then you can see it. So we were doing it publicly. People wasn't really coming into it, valuing it the way that we knew that they should. So we made it private, registration only. And you can come into that if you register for it and pop up on there, and you'll start getting that.
Yeah. Now, Success Leaves Clues. Success Leaves Clues. Tell them about the other. We'll talk about the other 4 o'clock in the morning call when we get back. Let's grow. There's slow growth, and then there's scale. There's incremental growth, and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a 0 to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 + 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 + 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 + 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 + 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a 0 to you, you can add a 0 to the marketplace. You can add a 0 to the value that you bring. So you can add a 0 to your family, add a 0 to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental, we're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a 0. Add a 0 to your competence, add a 0 to your confidence. This is about adding a 0 in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile. He's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. All right, guys. So let me just drop a couple of these things up in here. Let's grow. Financially, my goal is to reach 3 to 5K in the next 60 days, and then 5 to 10K in the next 6 months, and then 20 to 30 by the next 12 months. All right, put your name next to this comment. I need to know who this is directly, because I want to challenge you to add a 0 to your number. Right? I want to challenge you to add a 0 to your number. Don't be afraid. It's going to take you as much work to get 3 as it is to get 30. As a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, it'll take you less time and less effort to get the 30 than it will the 3. And the reason I say this, guys, is because the people who pay the least want the most, and the people who pay the most need the least. They're less needy and more responsive, right, guys? So I want you to understand this. You're saying to yourself, I need to do X number. So I know somebody said they have scary goals. I like this comment. Unconditional servant leadership. Yes, unconditional servant leadership. This is what we're doing. Like this is free. Like this is giving. And I have a lot of people say, Sean, should I give it all? How much should I do for free? And I say, give it all away. Give it all away. And if you're scared of having a limitation in your content, then you're not that deep and you need to go back to school. Real talk. Like if you feel like, if I give too much away, then why would they pay? That's exactly why they would pay. Yeah. They would pay because you're obviously the magnet, the center of attraction, the person who can add unconditional value, and the person that actually helped them, right? So if you're trying to convince people that you can help them, the best way that you can go about it is to actually help them. Deep, isn't it? Very extremely deep and profound. Profound. That's a profound theory, isn't it? The way to convince someone that you can help them is by actually helping them. Guys, listen. Create a huge goal. If you know how you're going to get there, if you know what you need to do to get to your goal, it's not big enough. If you have a clue, if you know what you need to do to get there, if you're the person and you say, I can't do this, the goal isn't big enough. You need to not know how you can get there. You need to set a goal that is so big that you have absolutely no clue how to get there. And it's like that first step towards Mount Everest. I don't know about you, but honestly, and I'm all about huge goals, but I'm not touching Mount Everest at this point. Not right now. Not right now. I'm not doing that. I'm not touching it. But I set goals the same way. So I'll share one. I don't know, should I share one? Well, I think everybody hears it when they hear $1 billion brand. Look above your heads. Look above my head. Look above Bobby's head. $1 billion brand. That's a goal. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. Point up, Bobby. Point up into the corner over there. Look on the screen. Yeah. Bro. That's a goal, guys.
Right.
That's one of Sean Rais's goals. And if that's an indication, then I think you need to probably add a couple zeros to your own.
Adding a couple zeros. I have a quick thing that I'd like to add to that real quick. So I was on a call with a client yesterday, and he was talking to me about leadership, and he was saying, coach, I'm struggling to galvanize my team. I'm struggling to get them to see the vision. I'm trying to get them to execute, but they're not really getting it done. And I said to him, what do you know about visioneering? What do you know about setting goals that are big? And he sat for a moment and gave me a few things. So I want to give you guys what I gave him. And this is a paying client, guys. So what you're about to get is tried and true. This is really practical advice. I told him, you might have a goal only big enough for yourself. Meaning you've thought about your spouse, your grandmama, your uncles, your aunties, your cousins, your brothers, and you got everybody in there. So in your mind, you're like, "Ooh, this thing is huge. I'm about to take care of my whole family," right? But when you are leading a team, you got to understand that they have families too. And they've got generations that they want to take care of too. So when we say set gargantuous goals, like tarantula-like goals that you just feel it on your neck, and you're like, oh my gosh, like those type of goals, those are the type of goals that think about people that aren't here yet. And that's what I told him. I said, one of the best ways to optimize your leadership and improve your ability to get people to buy into the vision is something that I learned in the military, and something that translates very well in business. And it's, you want to set goals that think about people that aren't thought of yet, period. When we were in the military, we fought for the freedom of the country and the country's long standing, the Declaration of Independence, which is hundreds of years old at this point. So we were fighting for people that aren't even here yet, so that they can enjoy the freedoms of the things that you're enjoying today. So I just wanted to add that to you all's visioneering program. So if you are thinking about you and everybody that's alive today, great. That's a good place to start. Now start thinking about people that are coming in the next generation and the next 2 to 3 generations. And when your goal encompasses a way to serve them, and you start doing it today, you'll start to leverage the spiritual energies and creative powers of your team in ways that you never imagined. And I practically and actively do this within my own organization. And that's why I know it works.
Very good. Very good, Bobby. Very good, right? Guys, let me go a little bit further in the same veins. You guys can really understand it, right? On a very practical and elemental level. Who would like to make $10 million next year? Put that in the comments. Put that in the chat in the comments. Now, I'm pretty sure nobody has that goal. I'm pretty sure no one just says, I'm going to do 10 million next year. Bradley says, let's grow. LaWanna says, it's limiting. Nice. I love it. Jordan says, me. Now, what it's going to do now, this is just a number. I'm just picking a number out, right? But I want to break this down. And LaWanna, I love your comment, but this is the thing I want you to understand. If we don't have a practical plan to get where we need to go, then we're already there. So what I'm gonna say to you is, you can add a 0 to the 10 if it's not big enough, right? If that isn't big enough for you, then you can add a 0 and make it 100. But there's a couple different realms There's a couple of different realms. Now, I want everybody to understand this. If you're not in the realm of the possible, then you're in the realm of the delusional. And what happens sometimes, Bobby, is when you set goals that are so colossal. So let's just put this out like the way, let me use myself as an example. If I set the goal of climbing Mount Everest tomorrow, it's just not practical. It's just not practical. I have not trained for that. I've trained for what I've trained for. I know what I'm capable of physically, spiritually, emotionally, economically. Like, I got high reserves of self-belief. However, I'm not stupid, nor am I trying to die today in the next 2-3 months. You understand? So I know that I'm not prepared whatsoever to climb Mount Everest. So I would have to say next year, I'm going to train and condition myself for the year to be ready. And then this time next year, I can revisit the goal and qualify or disqualify myself as to whether I'm ready to even look at that. And this is what happens with people who set $100 million or $100 billion goals when they haven't made 10 yet. They look at it and they say, I can't do it. So they don't start anywhere. So I don't want to say to people that it's limiting, because I want to give people a number, and I understand where you're coming from, but I want to give people a number that's potentially possible in their mind. That's what I want to do. I want to put a number out there that's realistic in people's mind, where it's like, okay, and I hope 10 million is okay for people, right? I hope 10 million is like, okay, that's not too big. And if it is too big for you, then I want to help you fix that right now. And you can take the 0 out if it's too big for you, right? Watch, you can add the 0 or subtract the 0 if it's too much. But I'm going to give you practicality right now and show you what Bobby was talking about when he said visioneering and how to engineer the vision. So let's just say the vision is 10 million. I think it's a very healthy and robust vision for a year, especially if you haven't made $1 million yet. That's a fact. So 10 million. 10 million breaks down into 2.5 million per quarter. So that means every 3 months you'd have to bring in about $2,500,000. I always say calculator is the coach's best friend, business person's best friend. So we're going to use the calculator. And we're going to say 10 million. Everybody do this, walk through this exercise with me. 10 million. 10 million. This is how you break it down. 10 million divided, let's divide this by 12. Every month, matter of fact, let's break it down. Let's break it down elementary. Let's say 10 million, 2.5 a quarter. So let's put that in there. 2.5, 25. I'm teaching you something, guys. I'm taking you on a trip with me. I'm literally teaching you something. 2.5. So $2,500,000 per quarter. So let's take that and let's break that down. Watch how easy this becomes. By 30 days. Nope, I'm sorry. 2.5 by 90 days. Divided by 90. What you got over there, Bobby? Mathematician.
So I'm looking at roughly 28,000. I rounded it up though.
28K. 28K. Now it becomes very real. 28,000. Now who's got a $30,000 product? Or who could come up with one? Who could come up with one if they don't already have one? I'll raise both hands. Now we get some excitement in the room. But watch this. That's not all. Let's collapse it some more. Who's got a $10,000 product that they could come up with? Because you don't have to sell the 30,000 big boy. You could sell 3 of the $10,000 products. But that's not all. Let's go further. You don't have to sell 3 of the 10K. If 10K is too big for you, okay, no problem. Who's got a $5,000 product? If you could sell 6 $5,000 products a day, just 6, then you can make $10 million next year. Yes, you. Yes, you. So Bradley, you got your plan? You see the plan? You see the vision? Now you can see the vision. See what Bobby was talking about was taking a vision and then reverse engineering it into actionable step that you can literally take tomorrow or today, because this is the breakfast with the brand. So I'm wondering what you're going to have for lunch. This is the breakfast with the brand. So what's your leadership lunch going to look like? Listen, when I first found out about this kind of process, I was excited. I said, oh, Lord. And this is how we built this business. I set actionable, realistic goals, and then I identified the steps. I reverse engineered it like a scientist and said, okay, to get here, I need to do this. In order to do this, I need to do this. In order to do now, guys, now you can literally say to yourself, okay, I need the training and I need the system. That's it. You need the training and you need the system to bring you the qualified leads, the qualified applicants. Let me tell you something. People are spending money like water all day, every day. And if they're not spending it with you, that's what you need to figure out the answer to. Now I'm going to let this marinate. I really want this to marinate. So I want to go to a break, but I want you to think about what you just learned. That's called $1 million math. Let's grow.
I said Sean Ride East. I'm proud. I said Sean Ride East.
Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary.
Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes. Confidence is key. Most of the people I work with, they have the education, the experience, and the expertise. We call those the 3 E's. But they're looking for the 3 I's, the income, the impact, and the independence. And I always tell them that the bridge between the 3 E's and the 3 I's is marrying your confidence to your competence. Most of the people I work with, again, have all of the competence in the world. What I help them do is get the confidence. All right. So I got a question. After hearing that $1 million math, who's excited right now? Who's excited about their goals now? Who sees a plan an actionable plan to actually get there. It's amazing. It was so amazing to me when I learned this math. Now, if you want to add 100, if you want to add a zero to it, right, Luana? If you want to add a zero to it, all you need to do is add a zero to every part of it. That's it. And if you want to remove a zero from it, all you need to do is remove a zero all the way down. So instead, if you want to do 1 million, listen to me, guys. It's super simple. It's super simple. In order to, I know this probably should be on the back end, guys. We're giving you super value right now. This is your super Mac, guys. I promise you, I'm loving on you guys before the end of the year. All right. So if you want to make $1 million next year, all you need to do is break the $2.5 million down into $250,000. That's it. And then you need to sell something worth, instead of $30,000, 3 every single day. And the math will end up the same. And if you want to make $100 million, instead of 2.5, you need to sell $25 million every quarter. So that would mean instead of $30,000 a day, you would need to earn $300,000 a day. Now I could literally just close the show now, because you're not going to get that value anywhere, because no one's going to give it to you. You have to pay for that. But I'm different. I came to disrupt the industry by giving you more for free than you'll ever get for a fee. I'm diabolical in that way.
Yeah, 100%. And one thing that I've thought about as I was writing all of these things down is it took me back to the rifle range. And it made me think about targets, and something that I think is really interesting about targets is when you're training as a marksman, they teach you not to stare at the target, to stare at the reticle. And we know that a reticle, if you don't know what that is, that's a piece inside of your scope. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up and what this has to do with engineering and hitting goals is that I want to give you a practical example of what it looks like to hit a target properly in a way that is with military precision. So when we think about hitting targets in the military, we say fundamentals, fundamentals, fundamentals. In other words, the mechanics, the basics. So if you are thinking about making $3,000 a day, I would like to share with you some of the fundamentals. For me, I learned branding, then I learned marketing, then I learned sales or closing. Not in that particular order. The order that I learned it in, if you're curious, was branding, closing, marketing. That's the order that I learned it. And the thing about the target is targets are often most elusive when you stare at them. And targets are easily hit when you do the work necessary to hit them. I'll say that again because it's subtle. If you make a goal, if you set a goal to hit, say, $30,000 a month, that's a very reasonable goal, $30,000 a month, and you just think about how you're going to get $30,000 in 1 month, what most people will end up doing is they'll try to find a way to close 30,000 one time at that month. But the mechanics of it says close $1,000 a day. The fundamental says put together a campaign that brings you in front of, say, 300 people a month, close about 10% of those people, and do your very best to close each of them on a 1K product. And anything over 1K is going to get you above your goal, and anything under it means you need to increase the amount of people that you get in front of. So when we say we're giving this whole thing away this morning, I think it's really important to also understand the targeting aspect of reaching goals. And the really big thing I want you guys to take away from this is that focus on the mechanics, focus on the fundamentals, focus on the little things that you need to do right every day, and you will hit the goal inevitably if you effectively do those things. And that's just my piece from the military side of the house, because when you're doing large scale military operations, it's a lot of moving pieces. And all you have to do as a Marine is your little part.
Very good. Very good. Now, I want to help, right? I want to help you guys understand this. Because I know if you don't have the product or the program, then it's all wishy-washy. And it's motivational. If you don't have the product or the program, then it's just motivational. It makes you feel good to know that it's possible. But if you don't have the tangible object to sell, you're probably saying, well, what am I going to do now? I know how to get the numbers, but what am I supposed to provide? Like, this could be a $30,000 bottle of water, but is it? And if it's not, then you need to figure out, what is your $30,000 bottle of water? And that's where, yes. See, you need the value. The value is the water. The brand is the wrapper. How you find out about it, the sales page, the landing page, the Facebook ad, that's the marketing. So watch this. And Bobby was 95% correct with everything he said. Bobby was not 95% correct. And when I say this, Bobby's going to say, oh, you're right. But sometimes, see, God is in the details. And like I said, it's a little diabolical how I do things. So Bobby learned the branding first, because you have to know who you are. You got to know who you are. Then Bobby learned coaching. He learned the product, because he had to have a product to market so that people could come in, and then he could close. So he had to learn the skill of closing before he brought the people in. Please understand this, guys. If you get this the wrong way, then you're like wondering probably why I do what I do, or why I do it the way I do it. But we teach you branding, which is why Branded Like a Leader is always at the bottom of the screen. But then the right way to go about it is coaching, or your product. If you don't already have the product, we teach coaching next. So you actually have a valuable, tangible product to disseminate in the marketplace that's worth $130,000. So if you say 3, it's a steal. If you say 5, it's a steal. If you say 10, it's a steal. Please understand this. No matter what your value offering is, it's based and predicated on your 3 E's, on your education, experience, and expertise. So I always tell people, don't do anything new. Go back and see what they paid you for prior to. So Bobby's not doing something he just said, okay, I'm going to pick a piece of paper out of a hat and do this. No, he's coaching and presenting and consulting on what he's learned for the past 10, 20 years. Nothing new. He just learns how to put it into a coaching framework. And then he learns how to close deals so that when the people come, he can convert the eyes and the ears into dollars and cents. But in order to bring the people to you, it's not true what they say. It's not true what they say, that if you build it, they will come. No, they will not. You can have the branding, you can have the wrapper, you can have the best thing in the world that anybody's ever seen, and you can know how to close a deal. If you don't know how to market, nothing will move.
Wow.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. So you have to have the brand first, because if you don't have the brand, who cares about the water? There has to be a brand there. Okay, great. The water. Okay, now it makes sense. Okay, now I understand. But if I'm not in the store to buy it, somebody has to be able to make the conversion take place. Turn the eyes and the ears into dollars and cents, the cha-ching. Everybody wants the cha-ching, make it sing, right?
Yeah.
But in order for me to find out about it, I got to read about it in the tabloids or read about it in the newspaper or come to Facebook and somebody got to tell me about it. That's the marketing. You got to see videos about it. As a matter of fact, we're going to play one right now.
The difference between sales and closing. I get this all of the time, guys. Closing is elegant. Closing is luxurious. Closing is the most profitable. Sales, high pressure tactics. No one associates car sales, right? The sleazy sales tactics with closing, because closing is elegant. Closing is excellent. You have to be a professional in order to close deals. Listen, when you do this the right way, when you learn what we're going to teach you in here, your clients will be trying to close you. And they won't let you close them for low numbers. So you'll be able to heighten, increase your profitability, increase your visibility, increase your reach, and increase your impact in the marketplace. And be confident and comfortable charging higher prices than you ever thought possible to the right people who can actually pay for them and then say thank you for closing them. Custom Model used to spit out numbers, and Mike Tyson would throw a combination and always knock out his enemy. When Mike Tyson lost Custom Model, he lost the title. Sean Rais is your Custom Model. You're Tyson. What I'm going to give you is a marketing system that's going to knock your competition out. So the 501 marketing system is a combination: jab, 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 uppercut, hook. I'm going to teach you how to give, surprise your ideal client, and then ask for the value that you're worth. And you're going to get it every single time. I'm going to teach you how to communicate in a crowded space in your client's language that's going to slice through the noise in the market and touch their inner souls and make them open their wallets. It is said that marketing is helping your ideal client open their wallet and take their money out. I'm going to show you how to do this in 5 simple steps. When I think of brand you, I think of being your best self, your most authentic. The reason why we were able to crush business, absolutely dominate in business without having the marketing list, without having the email huge list, without having the Facebook ads and the advertising budget, without knowing the algorithm. The reason we were able to do this is because I branded myself. I told my authentic story and I was comfortable in my skin. Why? Because it was that time in the world where everything was shifting. It was 2020, March. So you remember what happened during that time. It was like the world was coming to an end. So you didn't have anything to hold back. So I chose to give everything that I had and be everything that I am. And because I was that, because I branded me, because I was authentic, everything shifted. And people wanted more. And they wanted to know more about me and how they could become more comfortable in their skin. Listen, guys, when you brand you and not what you do, you're going to add a 0 to the world, but you'll also add a 0 to your revenue. Let's grow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, Bobby. Should I say it? Should I say any more? I'm gonna let Bobby speak for the rest of this call. Go ahead, Bobby. Give him some value, brother. Tell him how to enact what we just talked about, man.
Man, absolutely. I was watching the commercials and I felt like I was seeing them for the first time, even though I was actually in them when they were taking place. It felt like I was watching them for the first time. So what I want to do, for the rest of the call a bit is just to, one, empower you, because encouragement is one thing, inspiration is another thing, but like real tools that you can take to 2024 and really go to work on your vision is something that I want to leave you guys with today. So one of the first things that I had to learn about business was that you can't, okay, I'll put it to you like this. There's one person you'll never close. And they're not even a person. I'm going to tell you, there's one person, one thing, it's inclosable. Can't be done. And I'm going to see if Sean is going to be able to refute this, but I think it's possible. It's impossible to close this person. The person you cannot close is universal laws. There's no getting around it. This is a person that will not give you anything that you do not pay for. You got to pay like it way. If you go to the universe and say, I'm going to close you on giving me success, but I refuse to do the work, like it's not happening. Like you're not going to close because you have a misunderstanding of what closing might be. If you think closing is getting someone to give you exchange for money or give you money for something that it's not worth, then you got a misunderstanding of what closing actually is.
Yeah.
Closing is more of a persuasive and a let me help you help us situation. You want to do this for yourself. The universe says, I want to give you this. Help me help you. Do the work so I can give you what I want to give you. Like it's yours. All I need you to do is your part. So one person that you're not going to be able to close if you have a misunderstanding of closing is you're not going to be able to close the universe if you think that closing is getting someone to do something that they otherwise shouldn't do. Manipulation is not going to work. So the reason I want to lead with that is because one of the things that I had to learn that really transformed and expedited and catapulted my progress was it's a process, a future-focused, goal and action-oriented process. Emphasis on action, emphasis on process. That was the definition of coaching that changed my life. So if you're watching this, the first part is to be coachable. Okay, cool, I got that. I'm going to be coachable. The second thing is knowing what it means to be coachable. That means take action on what you've been instructed on and do not abandon the process until you arrive. It's the easiest way I could put it. The easiest way to be coachable is take massive action on what you've been instructed to do and do not abandon the process until you arrive. And I think what some of us do, and what I did personally, is I tried to negotiate the non-negotiables, right? I tried to negotiate the non-negotiables. Most people do, you know? So here's a few scenarios that I have experienced that you might have experienced as well. I tried to negotiate being fully present in my business and being fully present at home. We call this the work-life balance, which doesn't really exist. I tried to negotiate with success, like, hey, I'm going to do one or the other, and I'm going to do them both simultaneously. And what I learned was that integration is the way. So that's just one example, one thing that we try to negotiate. We try to figure out ways to keep our old life and our new life. But the reality is you got to give up one or the other. I tried to negotiate getting to the next level comfortably. I tried to figure out how could I keep a savings account and scale my business. But the reality is you can't. The reality is you trade 5 for 6 and you trade 6 for 7. That's my reality. I'm pretty sure that is the reality. So for me, one of my biggest struggles was trying to negotiate the non-negotiables. But the moment I got back to being coachable, which my definition is taking massive action on what you've been instructed to do and submitting to the process until you arrive. The moment I became genuinely coachable, some interesting things started to happen. I started to experience and be reminded of vocabulary word. I hope you got something to write with. Vocabulary word, hypertrophy, or pronounced hypertrophy. I believe that's how you pronounce it, hypertrophy. So I learned this in the Marine Corps, and pretty much what I learned was that if you want to grow muscle mass, like you want to get stronger, bigger, more powerful, then you want to lift lower repetitions, heavier weight. Now, if you want to get tone or you want to build endurance, then you want to do relatively moderate weight at large volumes. The goal in both instances is time under tension. If you have a substantial amount of time under tension with very heavy weight, you're going to grow. Boom, out. You're going to grow out. If you have extended time under tension with a relatively moderate weight that you can feel like it burns, but you repping it, then you're going to get endurance. You're going to get better at repping that particular weight. So when it comes to business and investments and growing and scaling, when I became genuinely coachable, here's what I realized about hypertrophy. That's the science of muscle growth, by the way. So it's the same with business. You could call it business hypertrophy if you want, if you like. But pretty much what's happening is the bigger the investment that you rep out, the bigger the workload that you put on yourself, the bigger the vision that you actually apply yourself to repping out, the more the old you is torn apart, just like muscle fibers. So when you're repping it out, what's actually happening is the muscle is breaking down. And when the muscle breaks down, then the blood flushes to the muscle to rebuild it. And as it's rebuilding, it builds back stronger. And the neurons that were correlated to the muscle say, I can lift this now. Like something happens mentally. Like once you do it and you do it, the neurons can't forget it did it. So now you get under that same weight with a different level of faith, with a different muscle mass. You really got muscle now. And then you push it. And what you'll realize is that you can push more weight when you're actually coachable. See, what most of us like to do is we like to go into the weight room without a spotter. Like the coach's job, I'll give you guys a very funny story, but very, very quick too. Quick and funny story. I remember being under the weight, and it was my body weight for the first time. I was probably like 140 pounds, and I had 150, 145 pounds on the bar. Not a lot of weight for some people, but at that time in my life, that was a lot of weight. And it was on me, and I had repped out 1, I repped out 2, and then I was there. And I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna get this thing up. And I'm pushing, and I'm hurting, and I'm struggling, and I'm pushing, and all I have is my spot holding the weight saying, you got it. That's all you. You got it. That's all you. And he's pulling, and he's making these faces with his face like he's actually helping me pull it up. And then when I push it up, he was like, bro, I wasn't even touching the bar, man. I have my hands like this. That was all you. Get up. Stop fronting. Like, get up. And what I realized was that, one, you need the coach in the sense the spot, just in case. You need it because I'll put it like this. It's responsible. It would be irresponsible for you to go into the weight room and really lift massive weight that you're likely not going to be able to get up, but it's possible. Like it'd be irresponsible to go in with that mentality, even if it's possible. But what's even better is when you go into it responsibly and you lift the weight and you have the coach, what actually happens is what was irresponsible to lift by yourself is what you can do on your own. You might get 2 more reps on your own, and then the coach starts spotting. Then they start pulling, so you get like 4 or 5 more reps because you were responsible. So as I kind of close off my piece, because we just hit 8, I hope that you understand that this is an action-oriented process. It's a goal and action-oriented process. We just gave you the visioneering, so you know how to set goals. We gave you some action steps. We've been giving action steps all year. Now, all you need to do is take action on those steps and lastly, submit to the process. And gonna get swole out here.
Come on. That's how you add a 0 to your business, guys. That's literally, like, I'm never disappointed when I say I'm going to let Bobby speak and break it down, right? I'm never disappointed. I think you probably need to go back and watch this a couple times. Repetition deepens the impression. Please don't think you get this the first go round. That's the worst mistake that you could make. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, giving you more for free than you get for a fee.